All right, this video is about Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, when I met him, I met Jeffrey Epstein in 1996. So, and this is about what the FBI does to cover up Jeffrey Epstein and the culture that he's from. Okay, so in 1996, I was a farrier, a horseshoer in San Juan County. I had about 80 clients. And I'd go up there and spend 2 or 3 days shoeing horses. I'd make extra money. It was good pay. And, you could travel around the islands. Anyway, so on September 11th, I believe it was 1996. It could have been 1997, but I'm pretty sure it was 1996. At 12 o'clock at night, at the head of Crow Valley on Orcas Island, I witnessed 90 people chanting. They did it twice, and the second time it got really intense, and I heard a little girl screaming, and I went running to help her, and she gurgled out. A bunch of cars left and went to East Sound. 5 trucks went down another road to the backside of East Sound, and I don't know how many went to Deer Harbor. I saw a helicopter fly over with white pontoons on it, and when they realized that I had caught them, a couple of community members came to me and told me that if I didn't shut up about it, bad things would happen to me. Well, I sat down and thought about it, and I thought, if I don't stand up against this, I shouldn't. I don't even have the right to breathe God's air. So I fought, and they incarcerated me, or they arrested me 3 times, incarcerated me twice. Dave Reichert was one of the people that incarcerated me, and I was incarcerated in Seattle. He said I was suicidal. They put me in for a 21-day evaluation. The prosecutor who was working with Dave Reichert said that if I didn't shut up, they would lock me up for the rest of my life and I'd never see the light of day. During this incarceration, a little gray-haired guy came up to me and he said, "Jeff, I can get you out of this mess." And he handed me a piece of paper folded up. He says, "That's my phone number. I have an island in the Caribbean and I'll hire you as a bartender." I figured they would just take me to the island and get rid of me. So I reported this to the Washington State Patrol, the Bellevue Police, the Issaquah Police. I wrote a letter to the Washington State Attorney General's office about what I had witnessed, and I reported it to the FBI. Here's the big deal. So the FBI guy that answers the phone says to me, "Jeff, you know what my job is?" And I said, "What?" He said, "To make sure that people like you don't file a report." So you're not going to see anything. These people, when they went after me, I kept seeing this old man. 3 times I saw him. I saw him in the apartment above the apartment I was renting in Issaquah at the Chopeka Apartments. I saw him again, and when I pulled in to go to my apartment, he was coming out of the apartment above mine with the manager and the assistant manager. And he tried to turn around and go back in the door, but it was locked and he couldn't. So he was like panicked. And I'm like, what the heck? What's up with that guy? Because I watch people. That's what I do for a living. I train horses, and you just learn to watch body language. The second time I see him was at the Orcas Island Community Church. He was the choir director there. And the third time I saw him was being interviewed by Channel 5 or Channel 4 News during the Clinton administration. This is back then when Clinton and Monica Lewinsky had their little deal. And he was the retired head of the CIA. So these people in this culture are bad people. And you don't get to report it. I mean, so when I say bad people, I'm not talking about, we're talking about people that unalive people. And so what we find is, this is way above the power of Donald Trump. Clearly, this is beyond his scope. This is beyond the head of the FBI. This is beyond the Department of Justice. This is just the world we live in. And the only one that can change this is God. That's what I've come up with. So these people went after me and I survived. They not only did they arrest me 3 times, but they tried to unalive me twice. And the second time, it was a miraculous delivery by God. He saved my life. And so, it just, for me, it puts into that old saying, God grant me the wisdom to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the things that I can't. So I just thought I'd let you know that. I don't know where this will go, but so in my life, what I've decided to do is I keep the Sabbath day and I feed the homeless. That's my Sabbath day. I don't belong to a religious organization. I just go feed the homeless. I've fed more than 1 million plates to the homeless in the last 3 years. I've helped talk people into getting off the streets and getting into programs. Those are things that I have the wisdom to change. I'm sure that the friends and families of these people that you're talking about that are covering this up are in jeopardy. Why else would these people be so afraid? So that's where I stand on this, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But all I can say to you is what God told me. The law will never pass away that he commanded Moses. Learn it, do it, find life in it. And if those people, most Christians don't keep God's law, but if those people that are in the high public offices kept God's law, they would have no fear of reprisal for doing the right thing and doing what our Constitution says to do. Anyway, I don't want to get blah, blah, blah too much here. Have a great day. God bless you, and God bless our country.